Let's podcast alongside Joe Giglio. I'm Joe Ovias inside Eford Studios in downtown Raleigh. Thanks to Empire Properties and thanks to Copiers Plus. Check them out online at copiers-plus.com. Print management, document management, get everything you need to the cloud. Just like Giglio gets everything to the cloud so he can sort his Jon Scheyer, how does he do against a certain color team chart. We got an update to that chart with their win over Louisville last night. NC State with a win over Boston College last night. But the biggest winner last night, Canes fans who went to Lenovo Center and had a great time booing Mikko Rantanen, chanting Mikko sucks, and my personal favorite chant, Logan's better. I thought that was inspired.
Certainly was last night, right?
Yeah, certainly was last night. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. Let's actually focus on hoops before we get to hockey and then the NFL coaching cycle and some OG sports phone calls. Would you like to start with the Wolfpack or the Blue Devils last night?
Start with Duke because I found the antidote to Jon Scheyer's horoscope and his zodiac sign.
Okay. So context here is that you kind of figured out that Jon Scheyer doesn't have a great winning percentage against red teams.
Correct.
So they're at Louisville last night. It was one of those crazy red out type situations. I did text Mark Ennis, who does radio up in Louisville, and I said, hey, man, enjoy the first half because you're going to love it. Second half, I'm not so sure, but I can tell you right now, given Duke's pattern, you're going to love that first half. And sure enough, it was a great first half for a gentleman by the name of Ryan Conwell. But we'll talk about that a little bit later on. But they got over on a red team, Joe. Got over last night on Louisville. What does that mean?
Well, here it is. His record against all red teams is 12-6.
Yeah.
Well, all major red teams.
Yeah.
We're not including Incarnate Word and some others in here. Okay.
Sure.
So he's 12-6 against red teams. That means now his true Achilles heel, what you would argue are black teams that predominantly wear black.
Yeah.
He's 5-3. So his winning percentage against teams that wear black is his lowest winning percentage against all major teams.
Okay.
So you're looking at that and you're like 5-3. Okay. There's a random Purdue loss in there.
Yeah.
He struggles a bit against Wake, or at least did earlier in his career.
Yeah, what is it with Wake? But anyway.
So now I'm thinking, now I have the chart and I'm like, red teams. Wow, it was a big win last night. 12-6 against all major red teams.
Okay.
He's 6-6 against red teams not named Louisville.
Huh.
He's 6-0 against Louisville, which I did not realize that he had a perfect record. But it does make sense. Louisville was dog shit his first 2 years.
This is true, yeah.
And murder balled them in those first 2 years.
Yes.
They've been good last year and this year. And I thought last night, to your point, their pattern this year has been slow start, struggle a little bit, make some adjustments, have a halftime speech, remind them of the Tennessee game, and get it together and pull it away. They can't play any better than they did in the second half of that basketball game last night. You had the holy triumvirate going last night.
Yeah.
Boozer's the given,
of course,
right? Like we don't even talk about him anymore. He's so steady and good.
Yeah.
But you throw in a career high from Caleb Foster and you throw in 23 from Isaiah Evans, and Duke cannot, this version of Duke, the 98 Vols, they can't play any better than they did in the second 20 minutes last night.
That's right. You are dubbing. We got two comparisons for Duke and for NC State. For Duke, it's a football team, the 98 Tennessee Volunteers, when they didn't have Peyton Manning and they won with T. Martin. And then State fans are going to love the comparison we're going to drop here in a second when we talk about the NC State Boston College game. So it's interesting. One other thing about NC State and the whole red business.
Yeah.
Should NC State go back to black uniforms when they see Duke this one time this year?
I think they're square either way because black or red.
Okay.
I'm just saying what
makes more sense?
It's a sensitive zone. No, red is the color. It's the fire color for the Virgo that you got to stay away from.
You're right.
And remember, green is the color that is most agreeable to John, and he's 4-0 against green teams.
Got it. So last night, I've seen the common refrain, and I saw this on the ACC network when they were doing their studio show stuff at halftime of the State Boston College game. And I also heard a little bit about this from Field of 68 this morning when I was driving in to the studio. And they kept talking about the tale of two halves. And I could see in the larger grand scheme of things, from the Texas Tech loss to the 3 conference games, they have had these lapses, mostly in the first half, these slow starts. You would think after the Texas Tech loss, that would recalibrate them. Clearly not the case with slow starts against Georgia Tech and Florida State. And obviously this game against Louisville. Not all three slow starts are created equally, of course. Louisville is a good team even without Mikhail Brown. They're still a good team.
Let us now acknowledge that Louisville's best player did not play in this
game. This is why I say the tale of two halves is not exactly accurate. This is Jon Scheyer admitting, yeah, I fucked that up. And he said this to John Roth last night on the radio broadcast. I don't know if he said it in the post game, but I know he said it to John on the Duke radio network after the game. And he credited his players for bailing him out because he made a mistake in the scouting report, thinking, we're going to play some zone without Mikhail Brown. What are they going to do? Hit a bunch of threes? Yes, that's actually what they did. They hit a bunch of threes. They hit 10 threes to be exact. And as I mentioned, you had Ryan Conwell as your hero of the half. But one thing that has been consistent and why people give Duke and Jon Scheyer the benefit of the doubt is it goes beyond the players themselves. Yes, Cam Boozer is going to give you Cam Boozer production. Isaiah Evans in the last two games has been fantastic. He's eclipsed, 50 points in the last two games. But he's doing a bunch of other stuff too beyond scoring. And yes, we've talked about this throughout the season so far. If Duke is going to be fully formed, they do need Caleb Foster to play like he did in the second half, kind of doing it all defensively and absolutely attacking Louisville the way it is.
Aggressive, assertive.
But this is where Jon Scheyer gets credit. I'm like, well, I fucked up that first half. I'm not going to fuck up the second half. What are two things that I can do? All right. First and foremost, hey, Dame, could you put a body on Ryan Conwell? That'd be great. Appreciate you. Love you, mean it. And Dame Sarr did that. And you notice that Conwell completely disrupted. It was funny, as I was at the Canes game last night, big shouts to Greg, one of the fellow hockey dads, who said, hey man, let's go to the game. We went for 2 periods. And I'm watching on my Apple Sports app. And as I said, when I texted Mark, I said, yeah, dude, enjoy your first half. The second half is going to be funny. And sure enough, I kept looking at my app and Louisville was stuck on 53. I'm like, here we go. Here we go. So when I got home and I started watching back stuff, I was like, all right, this is why. Because Sarr played great defense and they adjusted. They played man. The other thing, too, about Louisville is they're not great when it comes to fouls. I think they're dead last in fouling in the ACC right now. It's either them or like Florida State, right? Or NC State. NC State's not great either. I think NC State's averaging like 19 fouls a game or something like that at this point. Regardless, Louisville's one of the worst teams in the ACC that does that. You know what you should do? Attack their ass. And that's what they did. And Caleb Foster was going downhill the entire time. They got to the line a bunch, and that's how they come out with this win.
And also Louisville could not buy a
They could buy a bucket. But again, I give credit to Duke for adjusting in that regard. So this is
John continues to solve the problems in front of him.
Yes, and that's why I kind of give Duke benefit of the doubt here. Obviously, do they want a complete game defensively? Of course they do. Is it a red flag for Duke with their national championship aspirations? Yeah, sure. Because that can bite you in the ass once you get in the March, man. You don't know what's going to happen. A team might not slow down in terms of 3 points, in terms of 3-point percentage in the second half.
Right.
Those are things that catch you all the time when you get into March. But as far as right now is concerned, I can't find a better resume than Duke. And I can't find a team in the ACC that is doing what they need to do to solve those problems in real time. So that's why I give them a lot of credit for that win last night, even without Louisville's best player on the court, Mikhail Brown. So it's a little bit of a glass half full, glass half empty strategy for Duke. Now, as far as NC State is concerned, I think this is another one of these glass half full, half empty situations. I think you called this, or this stretch of basketball games, appendix games for NC State. For those who are unfamiliar with the term, what is an appendix game?
Well, your appendix in your body serves no actual function, and at some point could actually kill you.
It can. It could rupture at any moment,
but it serves no function.
No.
So
it did at one point, though.
I guess.
If you want to eat raw meat. Sure. I think that's what it is. Anyway, back to Can I put a little buzzer on my appendix to delay things? Okay, just double checking on that.
So you want to win these games, and you're not going to feel great about necessarily winning these games, but you need to win them, and it certainly beats losing and having them explode and kill you. Yes. So I thought last night, particularly in the first half of the basketball game, I thought you had both Darrion Williams and Matt Abel. And if Andrew Slater gave a shit about me, I could hear him in his mind saying, fuck you, Giglio. This is how I put the team together. This is what I thought they would be when I put them together.
Yeah.
And this is how we're supposed to play.
This is your glass half
Darrion
full.
Williams is supposed to be the bus driver. Matt Abel's supposed to be a three-point shooter that stretches defense and knocks down shots and plays aggressive and looks like an NBA player. The only NBA player on the roster, by the way. Arsenault, back from the Chateau Bow Wow.
Whoa.
Looks like a guy.
2 DMPs, 11 minutes in the loss to Virginia. And the only reason we got minutes is because who went out with injury?
Trey Holloman.
Trey Holloman went out.
Yep.
So Arsenault got in the lineup, played 11 minutes in that game. And
Knocking down outside shots.
20
looking
minutes.
good.
Yeah.
Looking like a functional part, looking like the $1 million player that they're paying him to be.
Yeah.
So it was like one of those nights that you look at it and you go, okay, all right, it's on the road. First road win since they beat Clemson in February of 24. Okay.
Jeez.
That's a good thing. Now, the retort, as I saw some people on the Twitters last night when I was like, hey, this is how they need Williams and able to play.
Yeah.
Well, it's Boston College. Look, man, I don't know what the fuck Boston College was doing earlier in the year, losing to Quinnipiac or whatever garbage Northeast teams they've been losing to.
They've lost to FAU. Shout out to Boca.
FAU's a Final Four team in our lifetime.
I know. Central Connecticut.
No, there you go.
Central Connecticut is the team you're thinking about.
Yeah. I mean,
Hey, they beat New Haven, though.
I think they had to rally to beat New Haven.
63 to beat New Haven,
Yeah.
Joe.
I don't know what they were doing in those games, quite frankly.
Yeah.
The team I watched last night looked pretty fucking good to me.
Yeah.
And yes, we had another Wolfpack hero for the day, which Will Wade actually called his shot on the conference call.
Yes.
That, hey, this is what's going to happen because apparently everybody gets right against us. I thought Boston College in an empty building.
You're talking about Fred Payne and Donald Hand, who were their
Donald Hand's their star.
He's their star, but Fred Payne, who can get his, he lit it up.
On fire.
Yeah.
So in an empty building, shouts to Chung Yeezy and Josh Goodson for being right behind the NC State bench.
I have not texted Goodson in a hot minute. And when I saw him and Chung on the screen, I was like, you guys are sickos.
9:00 tip.
Straight
Conti Forum.
Sickos.
In the snow.
To be at that game. Salute, man.
Unreal.
Good Lord.
Unreal.
No, but
it's Boston College, Hey, man. I think Boston College has got a couple pretty decent parts to what their roster looks like.
But they
kind of hung around.
Yeah, people don't want to hear. That's the
they
issue.
Shot from three. Boston College shot from three. Apparently, they're the worst.
Joe,
they're the worst major conference teams in terms of shooting threes. They shot 50% last night.
They shot 50% last night. That improved them to 333rd in 3-point percentage in college basketball.
All teams. Yeah,
not just all teams. Of all teams, 333rd. And that would be the concern. That's where you get the half empty thing. Is that the 3-point? But the 3-point thing is a 3-point thing for NC State right now.
But I also didn't think they were like wide open looks.
Oh, sure.
I thought the guy was like on a heater.
Yeah, I got you.
I actually thought Boston College played pretty well in this game. Fair. The technical I thought kind of hurt Will early. Mm-hmm. He kind of shushed Roger Ayers or did something. No matter how many times Terrence Oglesby tried to explain why he got the technical. The camera work, it was truly like the Boston College AV club was in charge of the production last night.
It wasn't,
And so it's like, I still don't know what he did. I'll have to ask Josh or Chung what actually happened.
Sure.
I thought they were getting ready to stretch it out a little bit there, and the technical kind of brought Boston College back a little bit. Mm-hmm. So again, Will collecting these technicals. I don't think, obviously this one was not a purpose technical or an intentional technical.
No.
But I mean, you played a tough game. It was never really, it got to 4 points or whatever. It wasn't like, oh my God, they're going to lose.
No,
I never got the sense that they were going to lose.
I never got the sense.
Made the plays that they needed to make when they needed to make them. Again, I thought Terrence Oglesby had this one right. You needed a get right game, not only for Williams, but for Abel.
Yeah.
Can you carry that forward now? That's what's important.
Yeah, no, I think that's what the goal of last night was, coming off an embarrassing loss at home to Virginia. Can you find ways to get some of these guys going? Yes, that's what you saw last night. However, to the whole eye roll, it's just Boston College.
Yeah.
That is an issue that it's going to present itself over the next couple of weeks with NC State. And I think it's finally time to just rip the Band-Aid off and really start giving you the comp. And it's a recent comp. This is not Tennessee 98, something that Gilio and I have been kind of hinting at, but it's finally time to nail this down. NC State 2025, 2026 is North Carolina 2024, 2025. Last year's North Carolina team. And you're thinking,
right down to Van Allen Lubin.
Wait a minute. What are you talking about? Spider-Man pointing me, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just going to go based off, you can go off a net, you can go off a Ken Palm, you can go off a Bart Torvik, however you want to do it. I think the easiest way to do it is to not get so wrapped up in quad 1, quad 2, quad 3. I actually prefer the Ken Pomeroy Tears of Joy. Are you familiar with the Tears of Joy, Joe?
I am.
For those who are unfamiliar with the Tears of Joy, he just categorizes them as A and B. Not quad 1, 2, 3, 4, blah, 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 blah. Just A and B. A, very similar to net in terms of like, who did you play? Where did you play them? Where did they rank? A and B. If you're looking at NC State right now, they have no games that qualify as a Tier of Joy A. They got some Bs, but no A. That Boise State is going to go up and down as the season goes on. Boise State last week was a Tier A. This week it's a Tier B. So you see where it's on that fine line. But in their A matchups, Seton Hall, Auburn, Kansas, Virginia, those are losses. They got some nice B wins. Wake Forest, Ole Miss, Boise State currently. They also have a B loss in there with the Texas game, but that's neither here nor there. There's Florida State game coming up. That will be considered a B. Not bad. Do you know who did this last year? North Carolina. I give you the Tears of Joy from last year. Not a single one of them, except one, would be considered an A. That was the UCLA game when they beat UCLA 76-74. All their A matchups, Kansas, Auburn, Michigan State, Alabama, Florida, Louisville, Wake Forest, Pitt, Duke, Clemson, Duke, A. Didn't win a single one of those, right? Now, some of those were close, and they ended up the year as a Ken Palm 31 team. And right now, NC State is a Ken Palm. I believe NC State is a Ken Palm, if I can pull this up, a 33. Okay. Where are they in net right now?
I haven't looked at net, but I'll just tell you this.
Okay. They're just very, very similar right now.
Yeah, the NC State now has played 16 games, right?
Mm-hmm.
11-5 after 16 games. 11-5, 2-1 in the league. They have losses to checks notes, Auburn, Kansas in games.
Yeah.
Right? Last year, Carolina was 10-6 with losses to Auburn, Kansas. Right?
Yeah,
they're the same team. I mean, they really are.
But there's one difference.
Carolina last year finished 21-47. Ken Palm adjusted efficiency, offense, defense. State this year 35-48. It was 20.3 net efficiency for Carolina last year. 19.5 right now for NC State. They're the same team.
Is Van Allen Lubin the key here? Does he make them the same team? I don't know.
Same team. Strength of schedule for Carolina last year, according to Ken Palm, which is different than how the net does it.
Yeah.
40 for Carolina. State right now, 49.
Okay.
I mean, they're the same team. Now, the good news. The good news. Carolina's one of the few teams last year that kind of sort of got in on metrics.
Yes.
On metrics.
Good metrics.
Right. And strength of schedule was one of those things that helped them.
And the other key difference between NC State and North Carolina is that NC State, they got two things going for them. The first one is people like Will Wade. Nationally.
Sure.
People like Will Wade. So NC State's not going to be put up on the Summer Jam screen for the, should they belong? No, they like Will Wade. Okay. The other thing is that NC State is not North Carolina in terms of what moves the needle nationally for these types of debates. To debate North Carolina getting in or out of the tournament moves the needle in terms of podcast, national shows, getting John Fanta to show up on Fox Sports 1 and say, it's a crime that they got in. If NC State gets into the NCAA tournament under similar circumstances, you will not hear a single debate about it to the level that we had with North Carolina last year. Well, that was catnip last year with North Carolina.
Is not the head of the selection committee, so that
also helps.
A thing in there positive.
Yes,
I'll say
that
this.
Also helps too.
The key difference, of course, is Carolina had Munchkin guards last year and just got torn up on the perimeter. State does not have Munchkin guards, but they have an issue in their interior, and that's kind of like where Carolina's hole was last year as well.
So that's I figured it's finally time to break that one out because we're entering in a stretch of NC State basketball in the schedule that's very, very similar to where North Carolina was last year.
And how Carolina helped themselves was by winning those appendix games. They didn't lose anything dumb.
So your mission, Will Wade and NC State, if you choose to accept it, we've entered into the don't fuck it up protocol. My personal favorite. This is where Joe and I constantly argue. I get it's not about losses, it's who you beat, but sometimes you do lose games that make the NCAA tournament committee go, are you sure? So don't fuck it up. You've entered into that protocol. Maybe there's a graphic we can come up with.
There's room.
Housekeeping.
Yeah, we might have to hit color graphic. We'll talk about them here in a second. Big thanks to Innovana. Check them out online at innovana.com. Green cleaning solutions.
If you have mess inside your mansion or trash in your cabana, get it clean with Innovana.
Quick housekeeping notes. There will be no After Dark on Saturday. The schedule is just not going to allow it. You are busy. Dimitri is busy. And if that's going to be the case, I don't know, maybe I'll pop on and do an Instagram reel or something like that. But take a full-blown After Dark on Saturday. Not going to do it after the Carolina Panthers. Sometimes the schedule just doesn't allow.
Okay.
Like people were on us because of the Duke ACC championship game. The schedule just did not allow for football. That just didn't allow for an After Dark. So schedule, unfortunately, is not going to allow for it, but I'm sure we'll figure out something. Discord. Yes, I'm making it a pain in the ass on purpose. So if you would like to get the YouTube membership premium content delivered to you in audio form, connect your YouTube account and a Discord account, and you will be given access to a Discord server where you will find an exclusive private RSS feed on our system. We've had some people signing up. That's cool. I don't know. And with the Discord thing, I almost feel like some people have been talking about how social media is dead. People don't want to go online all the time because the discourse gets nasty. Totally understand that. And that we've been moving more towards a private chat type of situation. Discord could be that. Like somewhere where we hang out during a game and we're all family. And then the OG NASCAR shirt is soon. We got to add a couple things to that.
Okay.
But the OG NASCAR shirt should be out soon. In the meantime, just go to the OG.shop for the secret stash. Mentioned graphics and whatnot. You know who could actually come up with the "Hey State, don't fuck it up" portion of your schedule? Color Graphic could do that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Got to hit up Glenn, sales at Color Graphic. Do you need a tap handle for your beer at RDU Terminal 2?
Actually, yes.
We do. You know who could do that?
Glenn, Color Graphic. Yeah.
All sorts of great stuff with Color Graphic. So go check them out. Email them. It's the easiest way to do it. Email them at sales@colorgraphic.com. Again, that's sales@colorgraphic.com. I was in the building last night. It warmed my heart to see people taking advantage of the best deal in the arena. That is Two Roosters. The Slavin Sunday is always getting it done. And I gotta give Jared and the crew a lot of credit over at the arena for their location. They're efficient, man.
Oh yeah,
they're efficient. You see a line. If you're intimidated by the line, don't be intimidated by the line. Okay, stay. It's like every election. Stay in line. The Slavin Sunday they got to give you a Slavin Sunday. Stay in line. So go check them out in the arena. Of course, all their locations across Raleigh, Wake Forest, and the Triangle area. Of course, our guys, Matt Davis over at State Farm. You can check him out online at insuregarner.com or call him directly at 919-779-8277. You can save on home and auto. You can also do some financial planning with Matt Davis and the crew over at State Farm in Garner. Again, visit them online at insuregarner.com. And we're going to check in with Mike Maniscalco here in a second. He's brought to you by our friends at Brassfield Accounting. Chris Brassfield, my Discord server expert in chief. Also, your tax expert now. Yes, they can prepare all your documents for tax season. They can now handle your taxes as well. And it is tax season. So check them out online at brassfieldaccounting.com. Again, that's brassfieldaccounting.com. Real quick before we bring on Mike Maniscalco, Canes play-by-play, and National Sports Media Association North Carolina Sportscaster of the Year. I did enjoy going to the arena last night yes, it was Star Wars night, but that's not why I was there. I was not there for Star Wars night. I was there for Mikko Rantanen night. And shout out to the listeners who did call me out. They're like, I had three guys run up to me and said, "You really wore this jersey?" I said, "You damn right I wore this jersey. It's for historical purposes.
When else am I going to wear it?"
But I was one-upped. There was a gentleman walking in the concourse with a Whalers version of the Rantanen jersey with clown emojis all over it.
And Ronald McDonald, it looks like.
Drunk Ronald McDonald. So I thought that was impressive. I enjoyed that. I was like, yeah, man, I got to take a picture here. So I thought that was good. And then Mindy sent me this via Instagram. There's a lot of layers here.
Oh my.
That is a Marty Necas jersey.
Yeah.
With a Rantanen sucks taped on in the back. I thought that was impressive. I thought that was good.
Yeah.
And then, yes, the minute Rantanen took to the ice, I think with like at the 19-minute mark or whatever it was for his first shift, he got booed, and then a Mikko sucks chant broke out. But I thought the Logan's better chant after he scored was very, very inspired. Mike Maniscalco, Canes play-by-play, joining us now on the Heister Automotive Group hotline. I know people get very worked up about these things, but I thought last night wasn't nasty in any way. I think it was just fans doing what fans do in a kind of a fun sports way. It was a good vibe last night. Obviously, a 6-3 win helps with that, but it was a good vibe last night in the building.
No, it was, and believe me, I firmly understand where the Canes fans are nonplussed with Mikko Rantanen. By the way, I don't know if you caught the post-game show at all, either of you.
I did not. I was back at Weight Competition Center to get Jacob.
But the Logan's better chant. Somebody actually asked, I think Corey Lavalette asked Logan Stankoven if he had ever had that happen before. And put your hands down, because nobody was going to raise their hand and say yes. Stankoven goes, actually, yes, it happened when I was in Kamloops when we played Connor Bedard, who was thought of as the best player in junior. He goes, and we worked his team, and I had a good night. He goes, so I've actually heard it before, and it's kind of nice. So,
hey, man.
Good. And look, that's got to feel triply good for Logan Stankoven against Dallas, because he was, of course, the main piece that came across in that trade. But no, it was, I don't think that there was any extra venom or vitriol to it, other than, this fan base really putting their displeasure to Mikko Rantanen. And if I can, all cards on the table, Mikko Rantanen is an extremely nice human being.
Sure.
So if there is one myth that I could dispel, it was like he was a malcontent or not good enough. No, that is not true. He was fine in the locker room. I just think he got hit with his trade out of nowhere. And you know what, guys, you only have so much time in your life, and in particular in sports, to have the hammer where you can dictate where you can go. And I think that he just kind of got put in a situation, and oftentimes it's not the player, it's the circumstances and the people around him that put you in a situation. But he is, if anybody thinks that there was a problem with him in the locker room, that is the furthest from the truth. That being said, I had no issue with what the Canes fans did last night. I thought that is one of the things that makes sports sport.
Right.
That people had fun with it. And you're right, Joe. It created a really good scene at Lenovo Center.
Yeah, like I went with a fellow hockey dad, and he's like, Tuesday nights, I'm like, well, it's Star Wars night, but I think the reason why this has a little bit more juice to it is because Mikko is here and people were having fun with it. And yes, he did score, but I think he ended up being -3 on the night in the loss. Now, as far as the actual game is concerned, let's strip aside all the antics and the silliness that comes with being a sports fan and why we like sports in the grand scheme of things. The Canes have been kind of going through it. It's easy to chalk it up and say you've been missing your best players. It shouldn't be lost on people that Jarvis comes back and they've got this electricity about them. But I think the last two games with New Jersey and this game is kind of like building back to what we know what Canes hockey is. Look, man, it's a long season. You're going to have some stretches where you just don't have it. Jordan Stahl's going to voice his frustration. Rod Brind'Amour is going to voice his frustration. But I think the last two games are kind of what you want to see out of the Canes, given what they've been dealing with. And you can't blow a 3-1 lead when it's a 5-1 lead,
Well, and again, I'm glad you bring that up, but there's something that I want to point back to blowing those other leads, though, Joe. You still have to build them. And they built them against good teams. 2 of them were Florida. Mm-hmm. 1 of them was Tampa. And so let's not kid ourselves with that. It's not like they got their doors blown off in those games. That's to me when there's an issue. Like, okay, what's wrong? We don't even deserve to be on the same playing field, the same surface as these guys. That's when you hand wring.
You see what happened in New Jersey last night?
Yeah, 9-0, right? Exactly. Against the Islanders. And the Islanders are good, but they're not 9-0 good. the way that they're playing. I want people like you need to take the deep breath on that. Yeah, okay, it's a concern that you keep blowing these leads. Why is this happening? How do you fix it? But I would much rather be like, we need to fix this instead of what the hell's going on? We're getting run out of the building, right? The Pittsburgh loss, that was a concerning loss to me. That was okay, there are some nights when you don't have it. The Montreal loss was concerning to me because that's one that you should win, right? You fall down early, you go back, you build your lead, and then what happens there? So that's where the concern was coming in. But when I say concern, it's not for the whole season. It's for the moment. And I don't think you can just say, oh, okay, they're without their best players. No, they're without their best players, especially during that stretch. You don't have Seth Jarvis for 2 of those games against, Tampa and Florida. You've had Jacob Slavin for basically 12 periods all season long. And I think I might be over on that one by 10. And that's going to make your penalty kill look way different than what you've seen. Shane Gostisbehere in and out of the lineup with the concern when he comes back in, the team looks different. But for all of that, guys, if you look at the standings, who's atop the Eastern Conference in the Metro Division? And we are past the halfway point of the season now. So that to me is the big thing. And Giglio, be honest with me. Ovius has more than his fair share of the Chewbacca koozies today. He was probably taking them from kids who left them on their seat. I know that, and you're a bad man, Ovius.
All right, so
bad man. How many do you have? My over/under on your Wookiee koozies is 10.
All right, so a little bit of context. I'm not really in my Star Wars era right now.
Oh God.
Me and Star Wars are a little bit of a break right now. It's fine.
Ryan Johnson broke you?
No, actually, the Disney stuff with like Mando and all that kind of broke me. I loved Andor. Don't get me wrong. I loved Andor, but some of the newer stuff, I'm just kind of like, okay, I can't. I'm kind of over the spot the glup shitto in these shows. Now, that being said, the other reason why last night was a little weird was it was kind of like it really was there for the vibes and the content. It was a quick in, quick out because again, Jacob's team had practice over at Invisalign last night, so it is what it is. But my friend Erica, our friends Ian and Erica, I spotted them in the concourse, and Ian shows me the Chewbacca koozie. And I was like, damn. He's like, did you not see it? I go, no, I didn't see it because I didn't even know this was a thing. And he's like, the best $20 I've spent this week. I was like, $20? Are we at yeah, we are kind of like at Disney. It's a Disney thing. So the Chewbacca koozie is really soft and nice, though. Did you touch it? Did you touch it?
No, I'm not allowed to be around that. But Giglio, you now have to do me a favor. You have to clip Ovius turning into Lois Griffin going, $20?
Oh my goodness, $20.
Oh, my pearls.
That's a little much. Now, mind you, I've spent some ridiculous things. I spent a lot of money at Disney, but $20? Come on now.
It's going to keep your hand warm and it's going to keep your drink cold. And you're going to have, you can say that you've been to Kashyyyk.
We've lost Joe.
Yep. Yeah, we have.
We lost Giglio.
Ovius, we have officially gotten Giglio to check out. Let's keep going.
No, it's just a matter of, do I want to break your brain with the stat about, is that their second win over that's their first regulation win over a cup contender this year, right?
Yeah. Well, regulation, yeah. But I will. I mean, and look, and that's the thing. Like that's the thing. I heard you guys talking about the NC State stuff, right? Where it's just you beat the teams you're supposed to. Well, that's what the Canes do. They beat the teams they're supposed to beat. But against, like, if we're gonna say cup contenders, are we literally just talking about Colorado, Dallas, and Vegas?
No.
Like who else? Who else are you throwing in?
Florida, Edmonton, Tampa. They got some wins over Tampa, right?
Yeah.
Florida's the only one. Florida's the only team that I concern myself with. If and Mike a while back, I think it was after the second Florida game in which they blew a lead. That was the first time this regular season where I got out of my Zen state when it comes to this regular season and all the things that are going on with the Carolina Hurricanes. And it's like, and I know there's a long running gag for those who are unfamiliar with the inside joke. There's a collection of us that don't mind bringing up playoff-like games or tone setters in the regular season, these kind of like mile markers, right? And I viewed the Florida games as these mile markers, these kind of heat checks as to where you're at with who you're going to see in the playoffs, setting the tone. And Florida reminded Carolina, no, we're still in your head. We still are on you about these types of things. That was the only time this season that I go, oh, I don't know about this. The Colorado, like to your point, I agree with you on Colorado Saturday night. Like, man, Colorado's like on one. And yes, you built the lead on them, but clearly you cannot let up, and Colorado took advantage of that. So like that doesn't bother me. It's the Florida games that bothered me. To Giglio's point, in other contenders, which is the one that would make you raise the yellow flag, the Florida games are the ones that would do that for me.
Yeah, same. I mean, I think that's fair. The Colorado game, what I took out of that is when the Canes are on their game, they can play with this team that's just an absolute wagon right now, right? Yeah. You know, Colorado is destroying everything that's in their path. And I think that for 40 minutes and the way that the Canes were playing, that to me, that stood out. And then I knew Colorado can do what they did in the third period. I think we all know that now. And I think that's like kind of a good reminder if you're Rod Brindamore, guys, 60 minutes, right? You know, got to have it, and it's got to be this way if we're going to beat those teams. The Florida thing, the one thing that concerns me, and I don't think that they'll admit it, Joe, but I think when you say they're in their head,
yeah,
you know, it's a thing. It's either it's not a thing until it is, or it is a thing until it isn't. And Florida right now, it's kind of like how the Bruins used to be with this Canes team. They were a thing until Carolina beat them.
Yep.
And then it flips the script a little bit.
But that's sports. Yeah. I mean, you can go to the NBA and speaking of Boston, you say Boston. Yes, the Bruins early in this Brindamore era were that team they had to get over. Just like for LeBron, he had to get through the Celtics. You know, if you're going to do it, it's going to be a thing until it's not a thing, as you said. So we see this in sports all the time. I mean, hell, you being the Yankee man. What did Pedro Martinez say about the Yankees one time?
They were his daddies. Yeah,
they're my daddy. Like, what are you going to do? That's sports. And right now, I feel like Florida's that to the Hurricanes.
Well, Florida that to the east. And you know, Florida does a masterful job. And I know we're talking about the Canes of being able to troll.
Yeah.
But in real life, like they are so embedded like a tick under the skin of the Tampa Bay Lightning that they don't even like it. Like I was talking about, the Canes had, remember the back-to-back. It was Florida, Tampa, and then Florida again. And anybody involved with the Tampa organization, if you bring up the Panthers, they visibly cringe. And they talk about, like, you know, we've tried to settle this and they won't do this. And they, you know, we go ahead and, okay. So Florida knows what they're doing. And that's good. That's like a masterclass. And Florida figured something out last year. I've said it before too. They don't need to be the best team in the regular season. They just need to get in. That's what they figured out. Right. It's about winning in the playoffs, and everything that we talk about, guys. I keep saying it. The Canes are going to be measured by when we get to April. Do they get over Florida if they face them? Because, you know, Florida's dug a hole and it's going to be tough, but they're getting Matthew Tkachuk back. We'll see what that does. But the Canes are going to be measured on how far they go in the postseason. What I've liked, even in those losses, though, is against the best teams, they show they play with them. Now go beat them. And to Giglio, to your point, yeah, you don't want to hear me say, here's a moral victory. Here's my notebook. You don't want to hear me say, here's the moral victory. Here, Joe, here are all the moral victories I have this year. There's no such damn thing in pro sports. But for me, you can take trends or things out of it and say, okay, this is in the direction you want it to be, or this is abysmal. I have seen very little that I look at this Canes team and say, oh, that's just, how are you going to fix this when you need to? The things that I've seen is like, okay, this is a fixable thing, but what's it going to take to fix it? Do you have all the pieces here, or does Eric Tulsky in the front office, is there something else that they can look at to get here? And then I'm reminded again, the injuries that this team has dealt with, and everybody's dealt with injuries this year in the league, not just the Canes, but the injuries they've dealt with to be at this point. I want to see this complete team play, and let's see what they look like, and we can measure it against everything else too.
Yeah, it's remarkable what they've been able to do through 43 games, but I wouldn't dismiss the problems that they've had in those.
No, I'm not. I'm not
saying you are, and I would not. Just my quick math: they're 2-8 against what most people would consider Cup contenders. I think the good news is Florida, Tampa. Florida got one left against Florida, one left against Tampa. It looks like there's an Edmonton in there too. So either way, what a gift the Carolina Hurricanes were given. I'll try not to get you in trouble here.
Okay.
It's odd. Jacob Slavin will play in the Olympics. It looks like, right?
Well, he's on the team.
It's in the distance.
Okay, odd. There's been like this push and pull in the universe, and what a gift though. Let's focus on the gift. Seth Jarvis gets hurt down in Florida in one of those games, and what is it? Missed 7 games, 8 games. Comes back last night in the interim. Gets left off of the Canadian Olympic team. Somebody looked pretty fucking motivated to me last night. I don't know about you, but I really liked what I saw out of the Hurricanes' best forward last night. Do we just accept this gift and say thank you, right, Mike?
I do.
Yeah.
I mean, I really do. The tough thing about this is Seth Jarvis played for Canada in the Four Nations. They won the whole tournament. How do you leave that guy with everything that he does and we see it? How do you leave him off of Team Canada? The one thing I point to this year that is different from last year, there's a guy out on the West Coast by the name of Macklin Celebrini, who they have to put on Team Canada. They have to. He's one of the top scorers in the league. He is going to be, and I say this again cautiously, I'm not saying he is the next Sidney Crosby, but for this era, his group, he'll be what Sidney Crosby was to the guys who played the last 20 years. The way that he plays a complete game, the leader that he is, and Canada wants him around that team. Okay, so now there's a spot that was taken by a guy who wasn't on the Four Nations team, who's going to be there. And then it starts to become a numbers game. Tom Wilson, you could have argued, should have been on the Four Nations team. He wasn't. He's having another great season for the Caps. Tom Wilson gets in. All right, so now somebody's got to leave. Somebody can't be there. I would have put Seth Jarvis on my team one way or the other to see it. But the way that he plays, if he gets a month to just recuperate, and he'll be the best Seth Jarvis, and this will light a fire under him, because go back to the World Junior team that he was left off of.
Right.
And Giglio, he said that motivated him in his career to get him to the point where he is right now. He'll be motivated by it. I think the same way that Team USA made a huge mistake. I won't get in trouble for this one. And it's Bill Guerin he's trying to put together the team, right? Not the All-Stars, but the team. Mm-hmm. But Jason Robertson for the Dallas Stars, how you leave a 25 goal scorer off who plays center, who's 6'2" and isn't afraid to mix it up for a couple of guys where I'm like, oh, okay, I get that they've been there and done that, but Robertson should be there. There's always going to be somebody you look at. As far as the Jacob Slavin thing goes, this isn't going to get me into any trouble. If Jacob Slavin, and it's a completely different injury that has kept him out now, he suffered it. The A.J. Greer hit in the Florida game is what knocked him out. He would have been playing all the way for a month and a half, and he would be in the Olympics anyway. So he's in the yellow non-contact jersey. He's skating. I expect we're going to see him before the Olympics. We're going to see him some point in time in this month. The question is when. And I'll be honest with you, that's going to be a different blessing, Giglio. I'll flip it on you, that he's going to play in those games. And when he comes back from the Olympics, he's going to be ready to go when you get to that, and take a look at how that March schedule is compressed. He's going to be ready to go for that. So, I know that I did put on the Canes colored glasses with that one, but I think everybody's thinking that he's missed all this time, but then he's going to go play in the Olympics. But I think that Jacob Slavin playing in the Olympics is actually going to be a really good thing for the Canes when you get to that playoff portion of the schedule.
One last hockey item before we get into the business side of things.
Yeah.
Rod, I am sometimes surprised by the reactions fans have, and I have to be reminded sometimes that I'm not as extremely online as I used to be, for health purposes. And I was surprised at the level of reaction to Brenda Moore bluntly stating what Kotkaniemi needs to do. Like, I feel like this is something that if you've been paying attention to the team, like people claim they pay attention to the team, what Rod said, as in, yeah, man, I need some production. I'm not even asking you to be the 2C. I just need some consistent production. There's roles for you on this team. And these are conversations that they're clearly having behind the scenes. Yep. These are things that we can see just watching, and we see the ups and downs. And I just feel like this whole dynamic with KK here and how he got here, I mean, we've been at this 5 years now.
Yeah.
And I feel like the solution, this is where I don't know if I'm going to get you in trouble or not. I feel like the solution here is just for everybody involved to just kind of, hey man, you need to go get a different scenery, and maybe there's another rule for somebody else here. It just feels like that's the end goal here with Kotkaniemi. And fans should have seen this coming and not react in such a way that they seem to be reacting online to this, where they're like almost mad at Brindamore for just bluntly stating what we all see.
Well, I mean, this is why I absolutely, when it comes down to people asking me my opinion for Rod Brindamore, why I think he's a great coach, because he didn't hide it.
No,
right? He puts it out there. Maybe this is in honestly at no point in the last season or so. If Rod mentions a player by name and we need this out of him, this has to happen. That's been few and far between. I think you can count it on maybe 3 fingers during Rod's tenure as the head coach. But there's ways you've got to get out there. And look, he didn't say anything like, this guy has, he didn't trash his player, right? I've seen that. He didn't go
Bill
he didn't do that. He didn't go John Tortorella. He didn't go scorched earth. He just was asked a question and said,
he didn't even go Will Wade. He didn't even look whoever asked the question about Kotkaniemi. He didn't go, that's a terrible question. He didn't even do that. So
and look, if you guys have been around Rod, you ask him a question, he gives you an answer, right? Yeah. That's it. So look, I think that the toughest thing and I'll put this on Jesperi Kotkaniemi, who I do have all the time to talk to.
Sure.
But he gets rushed into this league by Montreal, and it sounds like I'm blaming Montreal here, and to a way I am, instead of letting him have one more year to develop. But if you are drafted in the top 5 by a Canadian team or an Original 6 team, you're supposed to play right away and be great right away. And he actually did have a good rookie season. Now the expectations triple up there, and it didn't develop. And the hardest thing in the NHL is you get guys, and I don't care from what level. The good thing is you're getting college guys now who are a little bit older, a little bit more mature when they come into the league versus, I always loved this guy dominated in the OHL. Well, he was 18 years old. He should, because he's playing against 17-year-olds, right? Yeah. So, you kind of go with that. Well, then you get thrown into the league with 29-year-olds who've been lifting weights and training professionally for 11 years. And it's the Connor McDavids are few and far between. But in the case of Kotkaniemi, what he was that put him to the top of the charts in Finland, it just hasn't been found here with Montreal or with Carolina. And sometimes that's not the coaching staff's fault or the team's fault or even the player's fault. You just got to change your game. You got to adapt it to something else. And the NHL is littered with, top 10, first round picks who were just lighting it up their entire career in junior or in Europe. And then they come over here and you got to turn into a third line guy, right? You got to turn into a checker. You got to turn into that player. So I think that's when Rod says he's looking for production. It doesn't have to be goals and assists. Are you better in the face-off circle? Are you making an impactful shift physically? So, and I'm not speaking for Rod on this. I just don't think people should freak out over that. There's no reason to. It's, you don't want to scratch a guy like Jesperi Kotkaniemi. You want to play him. But if you're not getting anything out of him, you then have to turn to, all right, let's see what Noah Philp, who they picked up off of waivers, a right-handed center. Can he give us something here? We know what Mark Jankowski can give them defensively, and he's good in the face-off circle, and he kills penalties. Like for Jesperi Kotkaniemi, if he's not offensively productive right now, he doesn't really have a big role. He has no role, in fact, on the penalty kill. So what are you going to get out of him? And I think that's what that question came down to. I don't think that doesn't get me in trouble. I don't, honestly, Joe, I think the Canes' preferred end game is Kotkaniemi finds that groove that he fits in. But, if not, we'll see what happens down the road. But again, with this team, I don't rule anything out for what they do. But I know that I would like to see, on the personal side, I'm supposed to be professional on this. On the personal side, I'd like to see Jesperi Kotkaniemi figure it out and really carve out a role here with the Canes. And that's that. And I know that's exactly what the coaching staff wants to have for him. So we'll see if that does happen. But
well, there's no way for you to get in trouble. How can the North Carolina Sportscaster of the Year get in trouble? I think that gives you like a year of immunity.
yeah, okay.
Right?
Well, that's good to know. Let the people in charge know that one.
Congratulations on
Thank you.
winning that. I know that people can feel indifferent or get really wrapped up in awards or recognition and stuff like that. You and I are very similar in that we hate those types of things in the context of like, don't talk about me, please. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's deserved. It's deserved. You've been at this for a very, very long time. You took that job with the Carolina Hurricanes in a situation that a lot of people, they're like, I don't know, this new stuff, I'm not so sure. And you've done an excellent job at it, and you represent the Canes incredibly well. So it's deserved that you got the Sportscaster of the Year. So congrats, man.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I am not good. I'd like to think I'm good at talking. I am not that good about talking about myself.
No, you and I
in
are
those
terrible
situations. Yeah, hate it. I was asked a question about it the other day, though. They're like, is there, because of everything that has gone on to get to this point, like, is there, what's the feeling? Because look, guys, we do have an ego at some point in time with all of this. And somebody said, is it vindication? I'm like, no, that's Old West, man. Like, this isn't Doc Holliday, and it's not that. But it's validation, because being named this by the National Sports Media Association, it's voted on by the peers. And that, to me, I think, is what makes this one very special. It really does. And look, the last year and a half or so, 2 years, I lost my dad, and he would be freaking out over this. He would be running around telling everybody that I won the National Broadcaster of the Year. And I'm like, no.
Let him cook.
No, but
whatever.
But it's for me for everything, because, Ovius, you and I have done this for decades, right? This is our life. Giulio, you're on the talkie side of it, but on the writing side, when you get an accolade from your peers, it hits different than, as I've said, you get the world's greatest dad mug. That's different. This one honestly is special. And if I can, I've joked about it a lot, but it's also true. To make this look good on TV, this isn't just me, folks.
Oh yeah.
There's so many folks behind the scenes, and if I can, Jim Malia, our producer for FanDuel Sports Network, is the best in the business, period. I'm not blowing smoke. It's just the case. Our director, Chuck Whitlock, is phenomenal. We've got Matt Ford, who does our graphics, and Austin Edwards, who does our video. They travel with us everywhere. In a day and age where that's becoming less and less, to have that group with us. And then there's no way I could do this without Trip Tracy, Shane Willis, and Hannah Yates. They are pros, and it gets cheesy, but you kind of become a family on the road. Hell, we're together more than we are with our family during the course of the season. So, I mean, tons of people and tons of folks to point to along the way. I could go full Michael Jordan for you, Ovius, if you want, and point to all of the other folks. And I took that personally.
JV high school coach.
No, look, hey, I understand the Michael Jordan aspect of it, because you and I, Giulio and his line of work up until this point, he got a little bit of an experience of that. You do get some moments where you're told, I don't get it, or we don't want you, or yada, yada, yada. And it's like, weird that you didn't. And yet. And I get
the
it.
prestige. Here's the reveal.
Yes.
So yeah.
But
no, it's thanks for saying it, boys, and I appreciate it. And this is like, coming on this podcast, this is fun for me. I know you guys always want to get me to swear, and I really want to.
It happens in the playoffs. It happens in the playoffs.
It happens in the playoffs.
It happens in the playoffs.
Happens in the playoffs. But this to me, this is the fun part of broadcasting. This is like the way that it always should have been. And in the early years, it sort of was. And now to get to see like a pivot and a reversal to it is kind of a good thing to be a part of it. But no, I am extremely honored. I am shocked, but I'm honored to be named that. And again, this should bode well. I don't know, Giulio, what file you want to put this on, but the Carolina Hurricanes, the Florida Panthers aren't the only team to go back-to-back. Trip Tracy last year, me this year. Right. Yeah, you're welcome.
Great.
You're welcome.
It's going back-to-back on that one. It's very, very cool to see. Yeah, I'm only mad about one thing in relation to you getting this honor. There's only one thing, and that is shit. Pressure's on me now.
Oh, you'll get there.
Pressure's on me to get one before Josh Graham.
Let me let you in on a little secret. Although you in the beginning, obvious.
Yeah, Gold deserves it. You deserve it. And I'm sitting here like, damn it, is it me and Josh Graham now?
I'm letting you in on a secret here, and this is hopefully Josh isn't watching this, but you know he is.
Of course he is.
He's got to
learn.
You are going to get this before Josh Graham because, and again,
wait a minute.
You are hang on. You are kind of indirectly responsible for what happened with a certain group of people that got blown out of a certain place. That when that happens, you just fall up. So that award is now that you have tasted that sour end of the stick.
You're right.
Good things coming your way.
You're
just
right.
Saying.
I got John Harbaugh. So yes, it's one.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
It's fine. It's fine.
I heard you lost the locker room. That's a tough thing.
It's a tough thing to happen. And honestly, you know what? There's no way I can lose. You know why? Because Josh is no longer a North Carolina sports broadcaster. He's national now. That's
right.
He's national. So I'm safe either way. Anyway.
That's right. Good for him.
Good for Josh. And I hope everybody enjoyed that Inside Baseball because this is just what we typically do. We all give each other shit.
By the way, I do love it, Giulio. You do realize like these wounds never truly heal, right? There's always some lemon juice to throw into it if you want to.
I was saying when you said that's vengeance or that's whatever, I'm like, I think I don't really care about trophies or plaques. I would just leave it on a certain Western Boulevard address and just leave it there for it. I don't know how this got there.
Whoa, what? I have no idea.
I'm not saying if I get a certain someone's address, I'd mail it to him. But
I know who you're talking about. Mike Maniscalco, NSMA, North Carolina Sportscaster of the Year. All right, man. Seriously, folks, we all just give each other shit. Don't take it too seriously.
Thank Chris Brassfield for me. He's seen it.
Yes, he'll do your taxes.
Yes,
all right, we'll talk to you later, man.
You got it, boys.
Big thanks to Miller Lending. Check them out online at millerlending.com. You can call them directly at 919-447-3377 or visit them online at millerlending.com. Real simple request. If you hit them up, again, call them 919-447-3377. You call them and you have this conversation and you decide to refinance with our friends at Miller Lending. You take that thing to close. A, you help us out. B, we'll help you out. Get you a row back. Get you a butcher's market
gift basket.
Who says no?
There's an OG hat in there too.
Oh, that's right. Not off our hat wall though. No, not off the hat wall. Remember the secret stash? We can do them on demand.
That's right.
The secret stash allows us to do it on demand. So don't worry about that. So here's the thing about Miller Lending, and I cannot stress this enough. You might have had to refinance in the past, and you got a high rate you're trying to get out of. Rates have come down, but they still stay somewhat fluid. The thing about Miller Lending with no closing costs, if the rates continue to come down after you've refinanced, don't sweat it. It's of no cost to you. You just do it again. I've done that. I've refinanced within 6 months of each other because of the rates coming down again. Now I sit tight. So you can do the same thing. If you're trying to get out of a higher rate and just kind of incrementally get that thing down, you can do that with Miller Lending. And more importantly, if it doesn't make sense for you to do it, they're not going to try to rush you into something that doesn't make sense. So contact our friends at Miller Lending at 919-447-3377. Looking forward to hanging out with Gordon tomorrow.
We're seeing him tomorrow, right?
And we're going to hang out with him tomorrow. Speaking of taking things to close, you can do that with our friends at Whitaker and Hamer. Check them out online at wh.lawyer. Attorneys and counselors at law, what they're going to do is help you out with your own personal legal needs. You got contracts you can sign, taking things to close. Maybe you run a small business. You have policies, contracts, etc. to look over that. They can do that for you. So check them out online at wh.lawyer. Speaking of homes, our friends at Hometown Realty, they're back for all of 2026. They're going to be on our NASCAR t-shirt. I'm very much looking forward to unveiling that to everybody. And maybe it's time for you to unveil to the world a new home.
Yeah.
Coming out of the holidays, you're bursting at the seams, not working for you anymore. It's time for a new house. There's a lot of new construction out there. And some of that new construction has just been sitting there on the market. Is it time? Can you take advantage of it? Contact our friends at Hometown Realty.
25th anniversary. So you're not talking about some fly-by-night real estate operation here. You're certainly not talking about some national chain that's trying to rip you off. So check them out, myhtr.com. bloomandblinds.com.
And of course, our friends at Bloom and Blinds. Happy birthday to Chris. I actually saw Chris on Monday the other day, and he's in his Bloom and Blinds polo. He's constantly grinding, and he's making sure that your house gets updated with some really great products. Okay. This is not just your typical vertical blinds or whatever it is. I mean, we're talking automation. We're talking true blackout curtains, and they can even do your outdoor setups as well. So check them out online at bloomandblinds.com. Call them directly at 919-980-9815.
Or now mention us too, because you'll get 10% off 10 window treatments if you do that. But they can also give you a deal if you have a bigger project as well. So always say to them, hey, I'm here because of the OG.
And it's not just for your house. Do you have an office space? Do you have a restaurant? Got a brewery? You're looking to update, cover up those windows.
That place next to the Rialto by Hayes.
They need it.
They desperately need to call him.
Yeah, because when the sun's hitting, man, it's bad. So hit him up, bloomandblinds.com, 919-980-9815. All right. I mentioned it when talking to Maniscalco. John Harbaugh, after 18 years in Baltimore, done. It happens. These are the types of things where after about 18 years and several cracks at it with Lamar Jackson, it's probably time for a change of scenery, if you will. Baltimore probably wants to reset. Maybe even Lamar Jackson needs a reset with a different coaching staff, offensive mindset, or maybe even a different team. So Baltimore's at that point in their franchise history where it's time for something new. You could say the same thing about Pittsburgh, by the way. You know, in retrospect, that missed field goal impacted a lot of people. Or did it? Because we got 7 jobs that are open right now. Baltimore is the latest. Throw that in with Atlanta, Tennessee, Cleveland, Las Vegas with the Raiders, Arizona, and you got the Giants. Pittsburgh, if they lose this weekend, even though they're your AFC North champions, if they lose this weekend, can you envision a scenario where they still mutually part ways with Mike Tomlin and he's in a TV booth next year?
Oh, no, I think he wants to coach.
I don't know, man. Harbaugh is going to jump right back into it.
Yeah.
Tomlin, and we talked about this a little bit on OG Business, all indications seem to be with Tomlin that he's got a TV job waiting for him with a lot of freaking money. Because if you're Tomlin, would you rather have any of these jobs that are available to you or a TV job? Do you want to go to the dysfunction of the Giants? Hell, if you're Harbaugh, do you want to go to the dysfunction that is the Giants? Do you want to go to Arizona where you're just going back into quarterback purgatory hell like you've already been in Pittsburgh? I don't know about that. The Raiders, those are luxury problems over there with Tom Brady. Cleveland, another one of these institutional issues for the franchise. Tennessee, maybe some optimism. I know Atlanta would be viewed as a good job if they get that thing right. But Mike Tomlin, in terms of options of jobs to go to, I just don't see it necessarily. You could convince me with Atlanta.
Not the Raiders with the number 1 pick?
No.
The dude hasn't had a quarterback in like 15 years.
Not with Mark Davis, not with the Tom Brady stuff. I just don't view that as a properly functioning organization.
Okay. You don't think the Giants, with their relationship with the Rooneys and the Maras, would be an appealing?
I actually think Harbaugh ends up there. All things considered. I think Harbaugh ends up there in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
That one makes sense to me. I mean, do you want to rank these bad boys in terms of best jobs? Of open jobs?
Well, certainly.
The currently available jobs: Baltimore, Atlanta, Tennessee, Cleveland, Las Vegas, Arizona, New York.
I mean, your boy's got problems with gambling, so like, I don't know if I could live in Vegas. But I mean, there is a certain appeal to the number 1 pick. They have decent skill players. Their offensive line's garbage.
Okay. You're right. There's an appeal to having the number 1 pick. Are you going to tell me that Fernando Mendoza is a franchise quarterback?
I would take the Oregon kid over him, but that's me.
Okay, because I know Pat McAfee this week has got people all on a tizzy because he said Mendoza is a generational talent. I'm thinking, no, he's a really good college quarterback. I don't know if it necessarily jumps off the page that he's a franchise QB.
I think he's really smart, a lot like Bryce Young, too.
Oh, yeah, there's that, too. And he's Cuban, so he's got that going for him. I don't know the history of great Cuban quarterbacks. I'm sure my dad will tell me.
Given the choice, you're saying, of the ones that are open?
Are currently available. That's what we have.
I mean, Tennessee's about to move into a new building. It's a great city.
Mm-hmm. They got Cam Ward.
A little bit of mold of clay there, right?
I can tell you the jobs I would not want. Cleveland.
No, Cleveland's a forever mess.
The Giants. wouldn't want that because did they not move on from Joe Schoen?
They did not.
Okay. All right. Then no. And again, I don't like the Raiders.
Whoa.
I don't like the Raiders vibe.
We're saying Baltimore. I mean, we're saying John Harbaugh, but Baltimore would be a number one job, right?
Yeah, I've seen the joke. Baltimore is the best job on the market. And you know who the best coach on the market is? John Harbaugh.
Well, I mean, it's silly.
Those two should get together.
I saw somebody tweeting about this. Didn't we just go through this in college football where James Franklin? And it's like, no, it's actually the same thing, guys. Sometimes you need a new voice.
You need a new voice.
Sometimes you need a new direction.
Also,
sometimes you need a new leader. And that's where the Ravens are.
Also, what are you playing for, right? So, like in the case of I think Mike Tomlin and John Harbaugh were essentially in the same position, and why this past Sunday's game was so fascinating and was positioned as a loser leaves town match. Because when's the last time the Pittsburgh Steelers won a playoff game?
I think Brooks said 2016.
John Harbaugh has not been able to get over on Buffalo. He has not been able to get over on Kansas City. You look at all the blown leads. All right.
The Kansas City won 2 years ago. Please don't get me. Please don't get me started.
So
I got a great idea. Let's not cover Travis Kelce, even though we have the best safety in the NFL to cover Travis Kelce. Like, I would have fired him that day.
So you like to say in the triangle, nothing happens in a vacuum. Well, the same thing happens in the NFL. You can't just judge John Harbaugh in a vacuum with what he's done in Baltimore. He's had an incredibly successful career. Nobody's dinging him on his coaching ability, but you look at the results with Baltimore and who he's gone up against. And there's another comp here, okay? Yet another example of you could be a really great coach that any job would take you in a heartbeat. There's not a single Carolina Panthers fan who wouldn't go, hey, Dave, appreciate you getting us to 8-9 and we won the NFC South, but we're going to take John Harbaugh. Cool? Thank you. Right? Like, that's not up for debate. You know who went through this? Same situation. Andy Reid. Andy Reid in Philly, good teams, got to a Super Bowl, couldn't get over. Things started to fall apart at the end. Everybody needed to change the scenery. Andy Reid goes to Kansas City. He didn't lose the ability to coach. It helps to have Patrick Mahomes, right? And they go on, and we've got our little dynasty with Andy Reid. And now people have completely shifted how they view Andy Reid. I think the same thing can happen with John Harbaugh. He's young enough and he's good enough.
John Harbaugh was Andy Reid's special teams guy, but
yeah. But you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You see, then these guys are all connected anyway.
Yeah.
So like Andy Reid and John Harbaugh, I see the same thing. Good coaches that after a while you got to go to a different spot, and it works out for everybody in the end. Philadelphia goes on and wins 2 Super Bowls.
You know what?
And Kansas City's got a dynasty with Andy Reid.
I think you're using the right logic in terms of jobs and appeal and all these other things.
Sure.
I'm going to tell you what could potentially happen in these playoffs. I don't think Mike Tomlin's the only one who could lose his job. If Sean McDermott can't beat Jacksonville and they can't get to the Super Bowl this year, I believe they have to fire him in Buffalo.
Okay.
I believe they have to.
With you on
it's in
that.
the best interest of their franchise. He got them in the playoffs. He's done this. He's done that. But at some point, kind of like Doug Collins with the Bulls, you got this horse, you got this star, you got this guy, the franchise player. And at some point, you have to unlock him. And I think if I'm Buffalo, I might sit tight on Harbaugh or Tomlin to go with Josh Allen. I might.
Okay.
But I think the thing we're learning this year, speaking of Buffalo and their first round opponent, Liam Cohen in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
You look at the success that Jacksonville's had. You look at the success the Chicago Bears have had. I tell you this all the time in college football. The same applies in pro football. The most important person, the most important person is the person who calls your plays on offense. That's the most important person.
And based on reporting, there was, again, you're at a place for a long time and you're looking at your brain trust and you don't want to move on from those types of things. And apparently there was some disagreement in Baltimore as to how they wanted to move forward on who's calling plays.
And John didn't want to hear it, that Monken wasn't the answer anymore.
Right.
That's fine. He knew his choices that were out there.
And he knows he's got a job. He's got a job the minute he wants it. Now, to your point with Josh Allen, now this is what's interesting. This is where I agree with you in terms of how these playoffs are going. To me, the sole focus of the playoffs this year is Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills coming out of the AFC. I'm not even talking about winning the Super Bowl. I'm talking about coming out of the AFC with the path. You
should be talking about winning the Super Bowl because none of his peers are on the board.
Hey, dude, once you get there, anything's possible. Anything's possible.
Fair.
But you have gone up against it in the AFC. The path is clear for you now. How are you?
They're not even in the field.
How are you not getting right?
No Mahomes, no Lamar Jackson,
all your
no
nemesis
Burrow
are gone.
Yeah.
Okay. Speaking of which, if you're Joe Burrow, you've got the monkey's paw. I got what I wanted in terms of contract and getting my wide receivers, but I'm still stuck with Zach Taylor. Apparently, they're not moving on from Zach Taylor. But that's neither here nor there. That's a separate conversation. about guys that I'm surprised still have a job. I'm looking directly at you, Mike McDaniel. In usually
Arguably did his best work.
Usually, what's interesting here, and we're kind of seeing this in Baltimore. Usually, the franchise is going to take the quarterback over the coach.
Yes.
Not in Miami. They saw enough out of Tua Tagovailoa and how he's been, and they said, "Nah, we'll still deal with McDaniel rather than Tua." And I think the quote was, somebody had asked him a question about like a change of pace.
Yeah, that'd be dope.
That would be dope, buddy. Okay. Time to go. So I agree with you on Buffalo, though, that McDermott is probably coaching for his job if they don't get to, well, he's just coaching for his job. They don't get to the Super Bowl, dude's done. He has to be. And like to your point, if they get beat this weekend, forget it. He's gone. Now the coach they get, maybe it is John Harbaugh. I don't know. You can sit and wait. Now, I'm going to read this to you. I want you to tell me what it means. We got these jobs that are available. 7 currently. 2 of them have a lot of.
I don't even know where this is going, but I have a
3 of them. 3 of them actually have a way in which you can tie it to Bill Belichick. Okay. And of course, Pittsburgh's still out in the open too. But of these current 7 jobs, I can identify 4 actually that Bill Belichick would be tied to. Atlanta's the first one because remember, they kicked tires on Belichick 2 years ago, and then something happened between Arthur Blank and
Robert Kraft.
Robert Kraft.
Fucked up.
Like some conversation happened.
I don't know if it was something.
That we don't know what he said, but not happening. Fine. All right. So Atlanta kicked the tires on Belichick. That didn't happen. Cleveland, you got the coming home story, right?
The redemption, the mulligan.
And of course, you have the Giants. Because It's New York, it's the Giants. We know how he feels about the New York Giants. So those would be the and the Raiders because of the Tom Brady thing.
Raiders, Tom Brady.
Those are the 4.
I'd also argue Tennessee's going nowhere.
Okay,
why would you take him for 2 years, win the games, get the record, and move it along?
Yeah. Now Atlanta, would they want to? Does Arthur Blank want an older guy that doesn't necessarily have a great track record with QBs outside of Tom Brady? I don't see that happening. So you're then with Cleveland, okay, you can see that for the vibes. The Giants, you can see it for the vibes, and for the Raiders, like there's that connection. Anyway, I'm going to read this quote from Bill Belichick. He said this on the Let's Go podcast hosted by Jim Gray. I forgot this podcast still exists.
Isn't that Tom Brady's?
It's now just Let's Go. It's like an overall Tom Brady, Jim Gray production.
Okay.
But yes, it's still the Let's Go podcast, which originally was a Tom Brady podcast. Quote, as it relates to interest in returning to the NFL. Quote, nothing's changed. I'm where I was a month ago. I'm here at North Carolina. I really appreciate the love and support that we've gotten from the community down here, from the school, from Chancellor Roberts, the ADs, Bubba Cunningham and Steve Newmark, working with Mike Lombardi and our staff here. We're building a good program, and I'm excited about the direction we're headed in. End quote. Nothing's changed.
Sure.
It's not a no, but nothing's changed. This also flies in the face of somebody's feeding Josina Anderson and some other NFL insiders about mutual interest between teams like Atlanta and Bill Belichick. So that's clearly still out there. I can kind of put 2 and 2
be
together.
the greatest gift to the University of North Carolina ever.
For a lot of fans,
Forever.
yes. For a lot of fans, yes. Now, do I think Belichick is going to end up with one of these jobs? I'm inclined to say no.
I don't. Yeah, I think he's saying it right. Nothing's changed. Why would anybody want him?
Right. So that's kind of my general attitude. My general attitude is no, because of the direction that NFL coaching hires have gone. Younger, more dynamic,
offensive, calling
plays, and those types of things.
Who would he bring with him to call plays? Like, again,
great question. So I don't think that's going to happen, but I don't think that Belichick's name is going to be completely out of it. His name will float as these jobs continue on. So just something to keep an eye on, something that I thought was kind of interesting in the end. And I'm not trying to come at this from a hater's perspective, just something that is in the news cycle. It's just pointing that out. Our buddy Luke sent me a screen grab of a parlay he hit with that involved Mikko Rantanen and the Canes and some other stuff. So there's all sorts of fun stuff that you can do with DraftKings. So check them out. Download the app today. We are in the best time of the year for DraftKings and opening up the app. You can do live betting. I mean, you can be like, for instance, I was at the game last night. You can pull it up. I think such and such is going to score. You can do that in real time. We got the college football playoff. We got the NFL wildcard weekend. We got all sorts of fun stuff coming up, and you can do it all at DraftKings. What do you have, by the way?
So we have my favorite bet, one of my personal favorite bets, and an annual bet that I like to make because Super Bowl odds are usually pretty straightforward, right?
Sure.
But we can take this another step, and that is Super Bowl MVP odds. Now, they're normally every year pretty much the quarterback wins. The quarterback of the winning team wins the MVP, right?
Yeah.
There was some backlash last year that it probably should have been Cooper DeJean, but it wasn't, right? But so it ended up being Jalen Hurts. I do wonder, given the year that Puka Nacua has had for the Rams and the success that he's had for the Rams and the volume of numbers that he's put up, just the sheer overwhelming volume that he's contributed to. You can get right now Puka Nacua 35-1 to be the Super Bowl MVP. 35-1. Feels like it's worth a scratcher. You can also get Matthew Stafford at 6.5.
Oh, I've seen that percolating.
6.5.
Something tells me Drake May you're not getting great odds on right now.
No, you can.
Oh, okay.
But what I'm getting at is if you just took the Rams, you're 4-1.
Okay.
But if you took Matthew Stafford, likely to be the MVP, 6-1. It's a better number.
Okay.
But if you're feeling frisky, you take Puka at 35-1. The Patriots right now are 9-1 on DraftKings. Drake May's 12-1. Oh, almost certainly, if the Patriots win the Super Bowl, Drake May is going to be the MVP. Like almost certainly.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like he's too valuable to what they do.
I don't know. Not if you ask Cam Newton. He's a game manager.
Josh Allen, 12-1 to be the Super Bowl MVP. So you see what I'm getting at. CJ Stroud, the Texans are a team that's blazing hot right now. 20-1. I think there's good value in Super Bowl MVP bets. Certainly better value than just betting on the Super Bowl champion. It's worth taking a look at on DraftKings.
Oh, sorry. I got distracted. According to I mentioned Josina Anderson.
Yeah.
According to Josina Anderson via Yahoo Sports, the Dolphins have been in touch with John Harbaugh.
And why not?
But they still have a coach.
And why not?
Anyway, DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. It makes every playoff moment feel bigger, right down to the big game. And DraftKings has your back with early exit protection. If the player in your eligible NFL prop bet goes down at any point in the first half, you can still get paid in cash. So head on over to DraftKings, utilize our promo code OG25, and understand any of the odds that we've talked about here. They are subject to change. Like yesterday, we brought up the Panthers were 10-point dogs to the Rams. They're now 10.5. So these things change on a consistent basis. So just keep that in mind. So you can download the DraftKings Sportsbook app, use that promo code OG25. Again, that's OG25. You can turn $5 into $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. New York, call 8778-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. Connecticut, call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, wager tax pass-through may apply in Illinois. 21 plus in most states, void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets, which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. Limited time offer. Big thanks to our friends over at Mosquito Authority and Pest Authority. You can check them out online at bugsbite.com. You can bundle and save. Take care of the inside of your house. For instance, I needed the cats to take care of something overnight. Maybe you don't have cats and you need them to take care of the roach problem.
Oh.
They can do that for you. They take out mice too, but
I've shown you these AI videos of people who make cat cakes and then cut the cat cake in front of the cat.
Yeah, you've shown me that. And the cats are like, what?
Yeah.
That's kind of weird. You don't want to find yourself going into your crawl space and going, wait, what? You don't want that. You don't want moisture down there. You can put a moisture barrier. So check out bugsbite.com and find out more. Big thanks to our friends at Roback. I got an actual jacket on today because I know the high today is like 70.
That's not a shacket?
This is not a shacket. This is I would consider this an actual jacket. It's got like snap buttons on here. It's got pockets. I think when you put pockets on something,
it looks like a shacket to me.
You know what? You're right. It is a shacket. Who am I?
It's just a lighter weight is what you're saying.
It's a lightweight shacket. Yes. Okay. It's very comfortable.
It's fancy.
It's very, very comfortable. I'm a big fan of this one.
You a fan of the snap button?
I am.
Yeah.
I like a snap button.
Okay.
Why? You have thoughts on that?
Yeah.
Well, they have their big fleece.
Mm-hmm.
That one's just normal buttons, not snaps. This one's snaps though. I like this.
Mm-hmm.
The other shacket that I have that does not have pockets, the Sheffield, that's buttons. And they're like nice rubber buttons.
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
Like it's good quality stuff. Same with these snaps. They're very, very good.
Yeah, yeah.
And of course, they've got the little rowback dog on all of them, which is nifty.
Fancy.
So you can go get this right now, what I'm wearing. Steal this look. Go to rowback.com. Use promo code. Well, I don't know if you want to steal my entire look. I'll get that in a second. Big thanks to our friend. Use the promo code OG20. Big thanks to our friends at the Butcher's Market. Check them out online at thebutchersmarkets.com. If you're back at it, the holiday break is over. You've got running the kids around to practices, various other activities. You don't have time to cook. Don't worry about it. They've got prepared meals ready to go at the Butcher's Market. None of this frozen stuff. Go get it at the Butcher's Market. And of course, our friends at Longleaf Swine.
I was going to say it's Wednesday.
Right? Check them out, longleafswine.com. They got a special tonight, Joe. Every Wednesday, actually.
Wednesdays.
$5 beers.
$5 drafts and trivia?
Hell yeah. I've been there on a Wednesday night for the trivia. You know I love a trivia, man. It's good stuff.
7P. Tonight, it's $5 fat tires.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Might see you there. So go to longleafswine.com. You can also get OG Light. That's not on special, but the fat tires are. And that's always a quality beer to go with. So go to longleaf.com. Again, that's longleafswine.com. It's funny. I said steal this look, but there's, I guess, one aspect of my look with the rowback and the Comfort Colors tee underneath that you might not want to steal. Apparently, my shoes are. You're not feeling my Birkenstocks.
No.
So I got so I told you
your Mall Walker 5000.
Coming out of Christmas, I asked my parents were like, "What do you want? What do you want? What do you want?" I'm like, look, I'm struggling with shoes. I got big old wide flat feet. It's time to give my life to Birkenstock. Okay. So I got the clogs. I'm a big fan of the clogs. Just slip them on. You're good to go. But I didn't realize that Birkenstock makes like faux sneakers.
Mm-hmm.
So I got these bad boys. And I know for some people it could be like, what are those? So I just took this off my shoe. I get in here today and both you and Leanne are like, what are those?
What are we doing?
And I said, and look, they got the Birkenstock bottom. They've got the orthopedic. I'm a 45 in Euro in the orthopedic here. And it's like, oh, wow. Like an actual support of my arches. What a concept, right? They're heavy as hell. These are not light shoes, but not the point. So the thing is, I'm getting roasted for these and I don't understand why. They look like New Balance 574s. And the Raleigh and Leanne wears 574s. Raleigh bros, if Chip Patterson is watching this, Chip Patterson's going, hell yeah, New Balance 574. The Raleigh bro look. I have New Balance 574s. So I don't see what the problem is with this one. What's the issue with the shoe?
I mean, you might as well hey, you're admitting it's over for you. That's what you're saying.
I have admitted, yes.
Yeah, that's
no,
fine.
I own it.
That's fine.
I own it. It's so over for me, man.
Yeah.
So I might as well be comfortable. Let's go to the sports phone.
919-444-2211. Call the OG Sports Phone and curse or don't.
All right, let's go to a 919.
Man, that Kings Stars game was a lot of fun. Would love to see Granton go completely off the score sheet, and would love for us to put a little more effort on that last penalty kill. But all in all, mostly complete game from the Kings. And I'm not going to say it was a playoff-like atmosphere, but it was definitely a college basketball-like atmosphere where the whole crowd was engaged the whole time. And it didn't just matter that we won, we also wanted you to feel it and you be miserable. And, Mikko Rantanen, as a non-Canes fan, I'm totally down with it. Like, I get it. He has every right to control where he wants to go in his career. And I support that. But as a Canes fan, no. You put on the colors of the Hurricanes. You put on the jersey of Raleigh, and you went out there and didn't give a shit, and then abandoned us. So, fuck you on the stars you rode on. Logan's better.
I was not expecting a Raleigh. That's fine.
Curse or don't.
Yeah, man. Curse or don't. And like we talked about with Maniscalco, some of this, it's just, let fans are going to be fans.
Yeah.
And I didn't really get anything from last night. Mikko got what he was supposed to get last night. Booed and a Mikko sucks chant. And the Logan's better chant was inspired. I enjoyed that. No video. But I did notice that they put, I don't know if you caught it last night, they did put Logan Stankoven on the video board for a lingering amount of time. Just to make a point, I guess. All right, let's go to 540.
Hey guys, it's Ben from Bull City Coordinators calling in, wanting your take or input on how to think about this year's Duke basketball team. Obviously, the Blue Devils have a great record. They're getting wins. They're playing tight games and winning them. But it's not looking pretty all the time. It's looking ugly at times, and I'm not really sure how to think about this group. They're young. They're playing young, and I get that. I'm not going to be critical of that, or upset about it. But it occurred to me last night watching the Louisville game that what we're seeing is really a Manny Diaz-style approach to this team, the way they're playing. What I mean by that is basically this Duke team is keeping the game close until you get into the second half, and then they're dragging the opposing team into the sewer, coming away with a win somehow. It's not always pretty. Gets the job done. Anyway, I just want to get your thoughts on whether Diaz is taking over all of Durham now, and this Feely pull him into the sewer approach is maybe what this team's identity is going to be this season. Love to know your thoughts on that. Keep up the good work, guys, and go Duke.
Duke football school.
98 Vols, man. 98 Vols.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I get where Ben's going with this. I would argue that Duke is too talented, and having a player of the year in Cam Boozer candidate. I mean, I think he's going to win it, but
in the league, yeah.
In the league, he'll win the ACC player of the year, national player of the year. Hey, man, I get it. There's other guys out there, but he's having a hell of a season. You're too talented to have the kind of starts that they're having. That's why I think there's a difference there. A little bit of a difference there. All right, let's go to a 919.
Hey guys, I think I have actually figured out what the Red Reckoning was actually supposed to mean. And I think it's that, I reckon this Red team is not very good.
They're fine. They're fine. Are they top 4 ACC? I don't think so. I think that's Duke, Carolina, Louisville, Virginia. And obviously they had a chance against Virginia on Saturday. Are they an NCAA tournament team? Yeah, they're looking like an NCAA tournament team right now. They're fine. They're okay. I think we've all settled down from the offseason talk to just look and go, you're fine. You're a good team. We'll see how it goes the rest of the way. Let's go to 704.
All right, guys. It's Chip from Weddington. Been thinking a lot about Will Wade and the various ways that I can cope with this not going the way that everybody had thought it was going to go. But in the spirit of OG and the opposite of what you expect, I actually think that I found the perfect way to cope with this. One of the big things that we noticed with Kevin Keats and with Gottfried in the past was actually getting wins, like reasonably big wins. Year one, I remember Keats had the win over Arizona, and with DeAndre Ayton on that team, beat Carolina his first year, kind of had all this promise, and then ultimately let us down the opposite way. Maybe this is a way of flipping that script and we are starting with, losses to these teams that maybe we wanted to get these wins against, these quad ones, but then maybe it ends up growing into something better. I don't know. Just my way of coping right now, and we'll see how long that lasts.
We appreciate the call. And that, you know what? That's a healthy way of looking at it. It's a healthy way of looking at it. Although I think we have the healthiest way of looking at it. You're just 24-25 UNC. And there's nothing wrong with that.
They got in.
Do I kick off the destination Dayton now? Or do we wait?
It's early.
You know what? You're right.
Early.
It's early. It's early.
We don't want to waste our bullets now.
Let's check in after the Clemson game.
Can we get actual Dayton footage this time, or did we ever fix that?
I think was that Cincinnati that I ended up with. It's close enough. Can we get our bourbon bro? Can we get Chang to?
Chris, yeah.
Can we get Chris
some
to
footage? Get some actual B-roll for us.
B-roll of Dayton. Maybe Destination Dayton's just some of the video I took of Caleb when we went to the Indoor Percussion World Championships back in April or May or whatever that was.
I was say my phone probably still it was too long ago.
I have to have a photo from 06 when I was there in 06.
Yeah.
For the George Mason Carolina game.
Your guy Jim Laren.
Anyway, that's gonna wrap it up. We'll see y'all for an OG Live. We'll do some more basketball with our guy Brendan Marks of The Athletic. And we are scheduled to talk to Rod Brindamore, head coach of the Carolina Hurricanes, before they play the Ducks. We'll see you then.